did you hear? Yeah, girl, what? Hey, girl, did you hear?
Nah, what?
Have you seen that new Netflix show, Dancing with the Devil?
I have.
Dude, let's talk about it.
Let's. Hey guys, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jessica.
You're watching Hey Girl, Did You Hear? We're going to talk about Dancing with the Devil and who knows what else. We'll see where it goes. What do you want to talk about first about it?
So since you've seen it, what got you to watch it?
Well, I love documentaries.
Same.
I watch them very often.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously when I saw that, I was like number one in like my recommendations, top 10 or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's also in the top 10 on Netflix right now too.
Yeah. And so I was like, yes, gonna watch.
Right.
There's so many like scandals and stuff coming out lately that they're all just very interesting to me.
Right,
so
right.
I just watched right away. And I did not know, I'm not really big on TikTok. Like I don't really scroll on TikTok. I watch like reels like on Facebook or Instagram more so. And I understand a lot of that comes from TikTok first, whatever. It's not my thing. Anyways, I didn't really know any of the dancers prior to watching the show.
Right.
I had recognized a couple of them, but I didn't like know them. Like I had never seen any of their pages or anything like that.
Right. You didn't follow any of them or anything?
No.
Me either.
What did you think about it? Like were you like drawn in right away or?
I don't know. Lately, I've been finding myself kind of completely immersed in sometimes when life gets a little too true crimey, you got to take a break.
Yeah.
Like you find yourself being like a little too hypervigilant.
Right.
You find yourself getting like stressed out about like emotional situations. I honestly find myself taking a break. So
I do the same thing.
I had been on like a completely different storyline when I saw it pop up in Netflix, and then you had mentioned it to me. So I did a little research about it. And since I am on TikTok, a little bit more than I should be, I was aware of the Wilking sisters and Miranda Wilking.
Did you follow them? Or
No.
You had just like seen their stuff or?
Their content is mainly like dancing and kind of like a little bit of their vlogging and things of like a day in their life.
Right.
So that's really not sort of the content I follow.
Mm-hmm.
So to whereas like I would see them because they're popular and they have a lot of followers and things like that. So the algorithm kind of puts them up there for you just because they're doing so well on other people's pages.
Right.
Like I'd seen her before, but I didn't understand or know what was actually happening in the background. It was wild to me to see that there was so much behind it, and all they're doing is dancing. All they're doing is just putting their groove on. Like it acts so innocent, but there's so much more behind it.
So much more. I was really blown away as the documentary is going and there's like more layers like peeled away, because initially it starts out, with the sisters, and you kind of are like, they're kind of the ones that really, jetted for this docuseries to like be made, right? They're very adamant that their daughter is in this cult, in this church, and
it's kind of the reach
brainwashed,
out is how it feels.
Yes. Yeah. And it's kind of like their last resort. I feel like maybe to try to bring justice or bring their daughter home or whatever they're trying to achieve in the grand scheme of things, which obviously would shut down Robert and bring their daughter home.
Right.
But it was so crazy because after I watched it, I went on the socials, I was checking out pages, I was reading through comments, I was looking at stuff that other people were posting and other pages that had came out that the docuseries talks about, and I like found those pages, and like there was just so much information, and so many people also had brought up, like, playing devil's advocate about it. Well, the parents seemed really toxic. What a toxic family she came from. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And so I actually watched this show twice. I watched it when I first saw it, and then I rewatched it because I knew we were going to talk about it again, like we always do.
Right.
And I wanted a fresh perspective. So when I watched it the second time, I kind of watched it with that perspective, like trying to see if I felt that the parents or her family was toxic
right
in any way. And
How'd you feel?
I did not feel that they were.
I didn't either.
I didn't feel that they were.
Mm-mm.
I didn't feel like they were manipulating their daughter or anything like that. And obviously, because you learn so much as the series goes, how many people were involved and, you know, affected by Robert and by him in different ways and so forth. Like, it's just so intense to me and so crazy that this happens all the time and that all this stuff is coming out like so frequently and so like, why?
I know out there in the
like,
socials
why are they
right
pushing
now, and
all
out
of
there in
this
the
stuff
media,
out there?
It's a lot of people being exploited.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
what is the point of that? Like, what is the fucking, you know, excuse my language.
What's the drive behind it? Like, why do you got to squeeze these people so hard for something that you could probably get organically if you just gave them the support that, you know?
They obviously have the talent. They're not lacking talent. They're lacking guidance, you know? And it was really crazy too. Gosh, there's just so much, like my head is just spinning. I have so much going through my brain about this show because there's so many dancers involved in this. And at the same time, what's the sister's name that's in it? Is it Miranda?
I can't remember.
I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. I'm pretty sure it's Miranda. Yeah, Miranda Derrick.
Yeah.
She is with James, the other dancer guy that's in there, and they're like together, you know? And so like they get engaged and they have a wedding. Excuse me, and her family's not a part of that.
Right. The only way they find out is through socials.
Yes. Like, could you imagine? Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, there's just so many crazy things that happen.
The layer that I got most twisted on in that whole series was the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
So like he starts off as like a head of this church and like a leader in fellowship. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm going to create this management company so that we can make money using social media to, you know, use social media what everybody wants to use it for, which is
getting famous.
Yeah, getting
money, getting fame. Yeah, followers,
all of that,
views,
right?
all that. Yeah.
So, I mean, to watch how... And this is probably one of the reasons why it's so hard to prosecute him is because he's so layered. Because he's got, you know, 7 Mill Industries and his church, and he's got like all of these properties, and he's in real estate, or him and his wife are in real estate. And it's like...
And you know what really got me tripped up? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
When the parents were reaching out to law enforcement for help, law enforcement told them that because they are adults, that they really can't do anything.
Yeah, but they're willingly
that
do this.
They can prove that Robert is committing crimes within the organization, but they can't investigate the organization because it's a religious organization and
right, it's protected.
It's protected. So like there's this huge wall there. So like
all of this devious shit can happen behind this wall.
Exactly. And I feel like that happens. I mean, there's obviously so many cults out there. There's so many docuseries out there about different types of cults and religious organizations similar to his, you know, and it goes like that type of psycho stuff is so like mind blowing to me. Cause I'm like, how are these people like living among us still and not able to be prosecuted?
That's the hard part, is because I mean, even in the series, as it explains, is that there is abuse that happens.
There is,
and like people come
for
forward and say,
years.
"Hey, there's a that's going on with this, and you know something needs to happen." And they're like, "Nah, well, you know, I mean, he is who he is, and he's kind of hard to get a hold of because of all of this. I mean,
and we can't really prove it, right? You know, and like, he has a church, so." Sorry, we can't really do anything, and your kid's an adult, so they're making their own choices. So try to keep the communication open was the best advice that law enforcement gave. And I mean, she also stated that, you know, in situations of like a human trafficking, which she kind of referred it to as that.
Right, it kind of is.
It kind of is in a sense, you know. Sorry, my allergies are going crazy, and my throat is like so raspy. I have like a little frog in there. Really? She goes on to say that They are adults, of course.
Right.
You know, so they're making their own free choice to be there.
There's really nothing you can do.
No, there's not. And it's
Like
really crappy to see that happen. And what's even more crazy is that there's dancers in there that like were brainwashed.
Yeah.
And then got the blinders lifted and were able to see what was going on. Yet Miranda's still stuck in there, and they've left
grinding away. Yeah.
And she's still like, that to me is crazy too. Like, what goes on in someone's brain? Like, what creates that switch for them to just only
so the joke is, it's like, I could never join a cult, but like maybe if they had, you know, cookies and, you know, fresh music, I'd join. You know, like it's really a matter of like your vulnerability. And I see a lot of these stories come into where, you know, people are kind of at a precipice in their life, or they're at a low point, or they're looking for that salvation. They're looking for that next step. They want to either join successful people so that they can continue to be successful, or that, you know, they're really low in their self-esteem and they need that one person to build them up, that one person to look to, whether it be a role model or Christ. It's really kind of up to you as to what you choose. And I mean, you can get people to do a lot of things if you just give them a little bit of the attention that they're so hungry for.
Right.
And I feel
that
like
little bit of hope that they're like,
that they're
reaching
being exploited.
So much exploitation going on. Like, obviously it happens in the world every day, all day, like in different countries. It's a thing. It's a huge thing, worldly thing. And it just blows my mind that all these docuseries can come out, and it's not showing that anything is being done about it. You know what I mean?
That's the hard part.
About
like,
the
how
problem.
do you change it? How do you change it? Because what's the problem? The problem is so multifaceted to where you can't, it's like you can't just squash one bug. The bug is a swarm of things that you're trying to eradicate, and you don't have the right kind of spray.
No. I tried to do some research to see if Robert was going to be prosecuted for anything, and I was not able to find anything. I believe they have a court date in 2025 for like a trial or like a hearing of some sort.
Right.
But he has not like officially been charged with anything.
Really? Dang.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. That it takes so much evidence.
Yes.
In order to get him to be held accountable.
And there's multiple women in the show that were involved in the church. There was one woman in particular who was a part of his church and his like family. Yeah. And she was involved with him for a very long time. And she also had a sister who was in the house with him, and that sister left. I was able to get out of the abuse and everything, and her, I mean, how devastating is that?
She even tried to rescue her, and she was like, no, I'm not going.
She chose to stay, and then eventually she got out, and now she's trying to like heal from all of that. And
there's so
you
much
know,
regret.
in the show, she doesn't want to come forward, and then she decides to come forward, which is amazing because she's one of like the key elements to this whole thing. Right. And even after that, they still don't have enough to prosecute him or start an official investigation. And at least from what I can see on what I've read on the news and stuff about it. Have you seen anything different?
Nothing.
I'll skim through again. I just looked yesterday too, but I didn't see anything recent. What I also looked at was, I was like, you know, does he still have his 7M company? And he does. So I went to the website and I was just like looking on there. I was like, what does this guy's website look like?
What'd you find? Yeah.
Nothing. It is the most blandest website I've ever seen. And I'm thinking, okay, if he's really a talent management company, right, he should have a pretty substantial looking website.
Right, because you would think that people who are trying to have their talent found would gravitate towards a site like that and understand that this is what they're looking for.
Right. And it's very bland. There's only 2 menu options, the contact option and the about section, or the roster. Their roster and contact. That's it.
Wild.
And they're based out of LA. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, LA's huge freaking area that has hundreds of talent agency companies. So then I Googled and went to, I Googled talent agencies in LA and went to like 5 other websites, and they had so much more
depth
to their website. Perfect word. Many pages, what they did, what they have going, like everything,
Success
their
stories,
roster,
all that.
all the things that you would want to see if you were someone looking for a talent agency.
Right.
So I don't know. It's crazy. Also, when I was thinking about it, because these kids are so young, they're like early 20s, and that's such a huge time in your life when you're that young. Like, do you remember being like early 20s?
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're almost 40, but like, it was a while ago, but like I remember being in my early 20s, and when I first moved to New York at 18, I really tried to get into modeling.
Oh.
And it was really difficult. I did a lot of like modeling and promotional stuff in Arizona before I moved to New York, and it was all just like nothing fancy, just like fun stuff. Like for some reason my dad just like always pushed that on me. Like he always thought that I would like be great at it.
Succeed, yeah.
And I never I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Like, yeah, I could probably do that. Like that'd be really cool. It's art, it's expression, like it's creativity, like I enjoy doing all those things.
Right.
I've learned now though that I much prefer, to be behind the camera, taking the creative portraits versus being the one in front of the camera.
Right.
Being the muse, right? That's not me.
No.
I want the muse,
Right.
But I remember being in that state and going to casting calls for modeling agencies in New York City at like 19, 20, 21 years old by myself.
Jeez.
Do you know how scary that is?
I've only ever seen what it looks like in America's Next Top Model.
And it looks exactly like that. I've tried out for America's Next Top Model 3 times.
Oh shit.
From New York.
No
yeah.
shit.
Actually, once in Arizona, twice I tried out in New York. One time in New York, I made it to like the first like cutoff round.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like that was the 3rd time I had tried out, and I was like, I was getting older by that time. I was like 23, 24. I was like, this is my last time. Like I had seen randomly that she was coming there for a talent scout.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I'll try one more time to get on this freaking show, I'm glad now that I was not on that show.
No joke.
So crazy how like your brain, like, and for example of like how your brain changes, with age and stuff like that. Like, looking back, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I wasn't on that show. But in the moment, and had I gone that route and got on the show, like who knows where the hell that route would have taken me.
I mean, because
you know what I mean?
Just imagine how easy it would have been to fall into a group like that, because
Yeah.
you're out there alone, you're doing these casting calls by yourself, and so you're looking for support. You're looking for people who are doing the same thing you're doing, for help, for resources, and that's what, I mean, and unfortunately, that's what he provided for them.
I know.
I mean, a house, like
Food,
all the things.
all the things
all
that they
the
needed.
things you needed.
So I can see, being a young person trying to get my foot in the door at any agency is so hard, because I'm not tall at all. Like 5'6", white girl, like no ethnicity, no uniqueness at all, like very plain Jane, like walking into a modeling agency in New York. Do you know how many beautiful
Women pot
were
of the USA
that like girls my age that were coming in for these open casting calls, and I'm looking around at them and I'm like, these Russian girls have these beautiful cheekbones, and like I'm just like, no, like this is,
they were just great at contouring.
no, they had no makeup on. Like you had to go to these casting calls completely natural. Wow. A lot of them required you to do that. And you had to wear certain outfits.
That makes sense.
And like bring certain shoes, because you had to like walk the runway and all that stuff, and
it's wild.
Like it was so crazy, but I multiple times almost found myself into like scam companies.
Oh shit.
Because there's a lot of, like, with anything else, there's always a scam out there, right?
Oh, yeah. Someone else is trying to take advantage.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, there's scam modeling agencies or talent agencies that will
just take your money and run.
Solicit, or they'll be like, yes, we would love to have you. We're going to put you through these modeling and these acting classes, and we're going to teach you this, we're going to teach you that, we're going to get you your headshot pictures and, you know, your comp cards, and you're going to do all these things and this and that, and then we'll start booking you jobs and stuff, right? But first, we just need like $2,000 to pay for these upfront charges. Yeah. But we're guaranteed to get you that money back afterwards, you know, like with jobs and stuff, which my dad and my boyfriend at the time, my ex, they both had talked me out of it. But like I wanted so badly at the time to join a modeling agency that I was willing to pay $2,000 to a possible scammy company. Oh no. To put me through this BS system, right? To who knows what would have led me to probably getting no jobs booked, you know? And the reason they found that out was because they did a lot of research, you know, and this was like early 2000s. Like I was young, you know, I was young.
But we still had the internet.
Yeah, we still had the internet at that time, which I was like starry-eyed.
Right.
I was starry-eyed, so I didn't want to see that perspective. I didn't want to believe it. I fought against them about it.
That's wild.
And I was like mad that they they forced me to turn it down. But then like when I like got over the emotion of it, I did my own research and found out it was actually really a scammy company.
Oh shit. Mm-hmm. Dang.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
So they never
I never ended up signing with them.
Right.
But it was funny because when we went back in to like sign the paperwork or whatever, like, you know, go over the deal.
Yeah.
I was kind of like asking them questions because we had waited a few weeks before we went back. Right. And so like I had already gone through like my own emotions about it and like my research. So I was already kind of like pissed at them.
Right. You know? Had your facts.
Yeah, I had my facts. And so I was like asking them questions. And you know what was strange is in the little freaking office that they were in, they record you.
Oh, I bet.
In the office. Every freaking second. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, why are you recording this? Like, that's weird. Like, we're just here to do a contract deal. And I'm like, I saw these things on, you know, the internet, blah, blah, blah. And like started like giving like factual information, like stuff that I was finding on their website or like other things like that weren't like matching up. They were just like couldn't give me like factual information on.
Dang.
And so we just got up and walked out. I was like, you didn't get me, fuckers.
Sorry.
But yeah, like that show it was crazy. I can totally understand like how they can get wrapped into it. And it makes me really sad that our country is so, I don't want to get too political. I don't want to be political at all. All I'm going to say is I think everyone does deserve to be treated, you know, innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
However, when there is a huge problem in our country with and exploitation and human trafficking that no one seems to do anything about, or when someone does bring something up, it's questioned every single time, and there's not enough, like what the hell is going to be enough? When is it going to be that someone, a woman or a man, anybody can go in and file a complaint and they immediately start the investigation?
Take action, right. What's it going to take?
To determine
right.
if there are other people, to determine if this person is in fact, you know, a predator, whatever. Like how, like when is it going to change? Like, because we've seen multiple times now over the course of many years and many things and many high clientele type people that many girls, gymnastics girls, USA Gymnastics girls, how many of those girls had to come forward in order to prosecute him?
So many.
Too many.
For so long.
Too many.
Right. Like
it should not have needed to be that many women to come forward. Like it shouldn't be that way, I don't think. And I'm not just saying that because I am a woman. I'm saying that for anybody because it can go happen
either
to
way,
male or
absolutely.
female, as we know from Baby Reindeer.
As we know.
But yeah, I like it. It's truly just crazy to me. I can't even wrap my head around it.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's the innocent until proven guilty, and you're doing your best to give people the benefit of the doubt. And like the last thing you want is people to be crying wolf and then exploiting people in the other direction.
Right.
So
There's
you
such a
have to
fine line.
You have to find that. I mean, because going back into scams, I mean, sex has been the biggest scam since time.
Yes.
Right? Like that was the first profession.
Right?
Like
True. Now look where it's come.
and I mean,
You got
and
OnlyFans.
that's the direction I'm trying to point this is that it's not, I mean, it's always
I know.
You have to be so careful because you have facts that this and this happened, but
right.
you can also be up against someone who is so creative and none of that happened.
Right.
And they're just trying to get that cash.
Right. Or the abuser is around people who
have power,
may know people of the victim, and maybe the predator is not into any of those people, so only the victim is affected and not anybody in that victim's circle per se. So they then become like the lone wolf.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, those other people are all around him or whoever, right? Whoever they're accusing at the time.
Right.
If that group of people is all around the girl, the victim or whoever, then and they don't see anything because they didn't get abused by him because maybe they weren't his type or whose type or whatever.
Right.
Then
that's just not
then
their
that
function
is
in that circle.
that really sucks for the actual victim because that is a he said she said, and it is when you do have a one-on-one situation like that is really difficult to try to prove. I think I do see that side of it. I just don't see the side of it, like I said, where there's multiple. Bless you.
Thank you.
Where there's multiple victims and law enforcement for whatever reason
allegations, and you have like this stack of evidence that's just telling us
it's like, okay, if someone goes into a police agency or department, whatever, and is like, I murdered somebody, or I know someone that got murdered.
Kind of have to prove that, don't you?
Are they going to be like, I'm gonna need more people to come in and say that?
Yeah, I'm gonna need more proof. 100%.
Well, yeah, they're gonna need more proof. They're gonna start an investigation right away. If I walked in and I said, my friend just murdered somebody down the street.
Right. I see what you're saying. To whereas someone just
if
comes
I walk
in and
I said,
I've just been.
I said, I've just been.
They're like, well, good for you. Sorry.
Exactly. So like, why? I just don't get it. I can't like see the other side of it.
Right.
I need someone to explain it to me.
Well,
like from that side of it.
The scale of, is murder and abuse on the same level?
Well,
do they demand the same level of attention? Because I get it. We don't want murderers out there. We also don't want abusers out there either.
Right.
So it's a matter of resources, I think. It's hard because anywhere you go, the resources for everybody are taxed just so thin.
True.
And I give our law enforcement the benefit of the doubt that they do have people specifically out there for this, right?
Yes.
That there's a tiny faction built just for these scenarios to do the research, to take the investigations further, to try and like persecute these people so that they can get these people potentially off the streets. Now, the problem is like, how many of these people do they have? I bet you the Department for SA crimes versus the Department of like the people who are
homicide crimes,
are way larger. Like you've got a pool of 10 versus a pool of 100. So it's like, or whatever the ratio may be, but I bet you it's a lot more uneven.
Right.
I mean, it's because you're looking at like the amount of violence, and I get that you have violence in both of those scenarios, but it's ultimately the end result.
Right.
And people's emotional damage doesn't carry as much weight. Like it's unfortunate to see, but it's the truth.
I know.
It's like nobody cares about your feelings because I get that this person did that to you, but I mean,
it's just crazy.
It's like you fall down in the playground and your mom's like, "Are you bleeding?" And you're like, "No." She's like, "Get over it." It kind of feels like that mentality.
It does kind of. It feels like society in a way like pushes people to kind of like, oh well, just kind of get over it.
That's just a part of life.
It's just part of it, Like it's
so
been around.
rude.
We're trying to deal with it.
It's wild.
Just keep pushing through it. Whatever. Go to therapy. No,
you'll be okay.
It's not okay.
Right.
Like. I've
it's like we have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just crazy. I just feel like it shouldn't be that involved. I feel like a woman or a man or anybody, if they went out one night and woke up half naked in a stranger's apartment or wherever at their house and didn't remember what happened, but knew that they were abused,
right,
that something had happened to them, and they went into, police department and said, like, I feel like
this just happened to me.
Might have been happened last night. I was Ruthie. Something happened. I don't know what. Like, I need to be checked out. Something.
Right.
Obviously, they would do a kit on her, stuff like that. And even if she was like, yeah, I was with this guy last night. We went to the bar and then we went back to his place, and then I don't know what happened or whatever her story is. Right. If she knows the guy and can give the guy's information, and the cops talk to him and he gives his side of the story and checks out and there's no match for the kit or no way to prove that she didn't want to or whatever, then that is a he said, she said. But like, it's so screwed up how women can't prove that.
Right.
And if it's happening on such a higher level, like, obviously Epstein, that is like a whole crazy thing. And he finally got, prison time. But like, how long did it take to get there?
It went
like,
on
how
for
excruciating
so long.
is that for the victims to go through all of that? And I mean,
decades.
It's so bittersweet, I'm sure, for them to experience that. But like, how shitty to have to relive all those emotions and go through that. And I mean, that's
almost
hard.
Feels like there's a reluctance to handle those types of crimes.
Right.
It's like
nobody wants to deal with that.
Really get in there and deal with that.
It's too hard.
It's messy.
It's too hard to figure out.
Messy.
There's too many lines.
Yep.
There's, they can't cross over these lines.
You have to be very careful. I mean, especially now with the way
you can't falsely accuse someone, like, just because she claims that. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. And like, that just sucks big time, because so many people, I'm sure, definitely get away with that.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, only on a large level will someone come down, and it's only on like a celebrity type level. Like, you don't really hear about other mass rapists getting indicted unless they are a celebrity of some sort.
Could
correct?
you imagine? No, I haven't.
Exactly. Unless they are well known of some sort.
Yeah.
You don't hear about it.
No.
You don't hear about any singular predator, or I'm just going to use the word predator. That's going to be like the grand word.
It's a good word.
For all the things, for all the bad things
right,
people do, right? Because I hate saying, I hate that word. It's an ugly word. I don't like it.
That's fair.
Like, it sounds gross. Anyways, I just feel like these predators they're out there, obviously, in the world.
Right. Good
and evil is out there. It's fine. However, we don't hear about any of the small evil happening. So when things happen on a larger grand scale like that, it gives people false hope, in my opinion, that their small tasks or small crimes or small, incidences or victim things that happen to them, could be recognized as big, because law enforcement may not see that as the same.
That's such a hard topic, because it's like, you want justice.
And for the record, I just want to say, like, I love law enforcement.
Yeah.
I have utmost respect for
Absolutely.
anybody that is in law enforcement. I have family in law enforcement. We work with them all the time. Like, love them. So, not saying anything bad. I'm just saying it's got to suck for them too, because I'm sure that they also struggle with what they can and can't do.
Right. Because like I said, they probably don't have the resources to address this with the sense of urgency that we want them to.
Right.
Like, we want them to act on this now.
Right.
I want you to put this guy away and make this stop happening.
Right.
Because if it happened to me, I bet you $10 it's happened to at least 2 other people.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's
I feel
so rough.
But like, that's how I feel those types of crimes are. Like, and I could be completely wrong, but I I personally do not think that someone who is a predator is a one-time predator. I don't think they're going out one night to do one crime.
It was like a one-time thing.
Yeah. No, I do not believe that. I definitely believe that if someone is convicted or charged or whatever as a predator, and it's one person, but there's more people. This
isn't their first time.
No, exactly. There's more people.
That, they just unfortunately got sloppy and caught.
Yeah.
Which is sad. But, geez.
It's insane. I would love to know what everybody else thinks about this show, though.
Dancing with the Devil is a clever title.
Dancing with the Devil.
Did we ever decide if that's actually a song?
I don't know. I feel like it needs to be a song.
I think I've heard that line.
I think so too. I think that's why it keeps I have to sing it. When you say it, I have to dancing with the devil. I have to sing it. I don't know why. It just makes me want to sing it.
I love it. I love it.
You know what's happening at the end of this year?
No, what?
We're turning 40.
So what? But okay, so we're turning 40.
We are.
But remember when you went from your 20s to your 30s? That was a big deal. I have a little sister going through that right now.
Oh, boy.
Whoopsies. Anyways, so everybody makes that transition, though, right? Because we're all put on this world to do the thing, and that's a part of the thing.
Yeah.
So everybody makes a big deal. My favorite theme to throw a party when people are turning 30 is the death of your 20s, and everybody dresses up like it's a funeral. And I mean, that's such a cute idea.
I love
right?
it. I love it.
However, it's a big deal. A lot of people kind of have this hesitance or this crutch or this pinch with man, I'm turning 30. It's the end. And really 30 is a lot of fun. 30's been great. Not only are my finances a lot more stable, but I don't worry half as much about what people think of me. And I think that kind of ties back into what we were talking about earlier is when you're 20 years old, you're so young and you're so impressionable. And the struggle is real.
It is.
You're constantly looking for resources of support. I'm looking to you to help teach me this thing because I'm only a baby adult and I don't know anything. Right. Or it's I'm looking to you for support because you can give me this resource of either shelter or food or whatever the case may be. And so when you're in those 20s, you're constantly reaching out for those people. And whether they be good or bad, that's up to you to pass that judgment.
Yeah, you're always reaching for those people. I remember being young. Obviously, I didn't continue the modeling thing for very long after that whole scammy incident. I was like, you know what?
Whoopsie.
Enough is enough. I'm getting too old. Realistically, I'm not a runway model. I'm 5'6". Those girls are 5'8" minimum.
Right.
I do have really long legs and arms. I can look.
You can
long.
make it look like I'm taller
with the right camera angles. I know that I can make it work. I can rock the runway for sure. I have no problem walking down a runway. I can. I can do all the things
them at the same time.
I can do all that, but it was just not in the cards for me. And that's totally fine. I am so happy, now where my life is versus where it could have been had I got trapped into some modeling scam, or if I did land at an actual agency, who knows where that could have went. You know what I mean? You never know. But I was really hesitant turning 30 because I had felt like I didn't accomplish a lot in my 20s.
Which is wild because, if you think about it, when you're a baby, you're 1 year old, right? You're fresh out of mom jail.
Yeah.
And then you start and your parents teach you things and you begin to learn things on your own. And socially, the world sees you as an adult when you turn 18.
Right.
So I see an 18-year-old as a baby adult. So that's a 1 year old.
Yes.
So when you're in your 20s,
so true.
You're only a 3-year-old adult by the time you're 20, 21.
You have very minimal
baby
life
skills,
experience.
Baby adult skills.
Yes.
You're just excited to buy your own salt and pepper shaker at this point, right?
And maybe you're lucky enough to have moved into your own apartment or with a roommate, get your own place, at 18, 19 years old.
To start to form that stability.
Yeah.
And so then as you begin to age, right, as you turn 30 years old, you're only a 10-year-old adult. You've only been adulting for 10 years.
That's
10
hilarious.
plus years, really.
That's a very interesting way to put it.
If you think about it, like so now you've had to buy more than just one set of salt and pepper shakers, right?
Many salt and pepper shakers
now
have
you
been
understand what it's like to have to pay taxes on stuff.
Right.
I mean, not only just in like the daily things that you do when you buy things, but also like those yearly taxes. And then now you're starting to understand, you start to reflect, where were my parents when I was this age? Like,
right.
I remember thinking back when I was like 28 turning 30, where like my mom was when she was 28 turning 30. And there was a bunch of like kids and a home and like a whole different life than what I'm leading. And that was wild to me because it's like she had only been an adult for 10 years at that point. Heck, I was like 5 years old.
Right.
So
how old was your mom when she had you?
I believe 25.
Okay. My mom didn't have me until she was 34.
Which seems to be the modern age to have kids now.
Now, yes. Back then, in 1984, it was not. Like, that was an old age back then. Like, my mom was considered old. Like, it was rare for someone in their 30s, like mid-30s.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
How, like, naturally we've shifted to push that age back even further. Because I get it. Our bodies are more suited to having children earlier on than we are when we hit that age now.
Right.
To where like we're running higher risks
right.
and the risks for the child are higher. But like this is the time where everybody feels like they've made it.
Right. Like you're like 35 to 40 is like your like the end of your prime. And I wouldn't say the end of your prime. Wow, your prime can
thanks.
really. No, I don't want to say that.
Jeez.
No. No. I don't want to say that.
Just put me in the box now.
Hey, we're both in the same box here. We're both in the same box.
Got it.
No, I totally lost where I was gonna go. We're in the same box.
I'm so sorry I threw you off track.
35 to 40 is a pivotal time period, right? Because it is the last of your 30s. And I don't want to say it's the end of your prime, but for a lot of people, they do feel that way.
Right.
Because after 40, you have like
medical bills.
You have like what happens after that? You have retirement to look for, forward to, hopefully.
Is that it? Is that what we have
to
do?
Hopefully by the time we're 40, we've prepared a little bit for our retirement.
Crossing our fingers.
I don't want to be 60 and working still. I'll tell you that.
Did you hear they just raise the retirement age?
To what?
I think it's like what did it used to be? It was like
I don't even know. It was like
65. Now it's like 73 or something like that. It's higher.
I believe that.
It's sad.
It is sad.
We are going to be working forever. It's unfortunate.
No, we're not. We're going to get famous and it's going to be fine.
Oh, famous. Hit that like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. It's a crazy time. I remember feeling, like I said, I didn't accomplish anything in my 20s.
Right.
But
you're not supposed to.
Right.
But you're right. You did like so much.
Looking back now, I'm like, damn, there was a lot. Like there was a lot of growing. There's a lot of experiences. There's a lot of healing. There was just a lot of like growth. Like that's a huge time period. Yeah, it is people. Because you are fresh in the world.
Yeah.
The real world, not high school world. You know.
But you still kind of carry that attitude with you.
Yeah, you have that chip, on the old shoulder there.
I'm cooler than you.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
everything.
Yeah, you do. You think that you are
because you
ready
made it out.
To step into this world,
right?
Like you are ready to take it on.
You no longer need to be told what to do.
You know it all, right? I remember feeling that exact same way. You just do. Like it's just part of it.
Yeah.
And like even like through your 20s, and I tell like my girls this all the time. I'm like you girls, like girls and people in general, like our brains are not fully developed until they're 25. People,
right? Frontal cortex.
Anybody understand that?
Right.
That is the most important part of the brain that controls your impulsive decisions.
So try not to mess that part up between now and then.
No, but like in my early 20s, before I was 25, I was working in the auto industry, and I was
Same.
partying all the time, you know, like a normal
Same.
young 20-year-old.
Yeah.
And like I
those
just
days.
worked, and like we just did whatever. Like there was no other responsibility. Like I worked,
That's the word.
paid bills, and that was it. Like
Yeah.
we took care of ourselves, and that was it. And we have kids and stuff now, which I love, and having our family is amazing. But like there's just these different stages that you go through, and it's just so crazy because like we have shared a lot in our 30s. We shared our whole 30s together.
Yeah.
And
the
half
end
of our 20s. And you do not have kids of your own.
No, ma'am.
I do not have any bio kids of my own. But I do have 4 bonus daughters and like 6 grandbabies. 10 grandbabies.
So many grandbabies.
All the grandbabies. No, I think 6. 6. 1 on the way. But like having that, and I got that family like towards the end of my 20s.
You're an insta mommy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of navigating that like throughout my 30s has been really interesting. And I like it's interesting because we have different perspectives.
Yeah.
Obviously because you live a different 30-year-old life than I do, but somehow like we still like connect and like blend.
Well, yeah, we're totally able to like
mesh.
I mean,
but like you know all of my kids.
Yeah.
Like you've watched them all grown up
Yeah.
and like been through things with us and like experienced things. Like
I've helped
it's
fix their cars.
Yeah.
We've gone out and like played practice sports and shit
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
like we've done crazy stuff. So like I don't know. The ends of our 30s are weird, man. Like I don't really know how I feel about turning 40 because I don't feel like I'm 40.
I think that's the whole point of turning 40.
I don't feel 40. I don't feel like I look 40. I don't know what to do in my 40s. Like what is supposed to be happening in this next decade of time frame? Like I understood like 20s, 30s,
Mm-hmm.
sort of 30s. No, but like, you know, like looking back, I'm like, yeah, I see where my 30s have gone. Like I've created a really nice, you know,
Improvement.
improvement.
Mhm.
Yeah. In the last 10 years. But like, what's
What's
next?
That's hard.
You know?
Well, I mean, and like that's the ultimate question, right? Because I look around at other people our age or people even younger or
Mhm.
people even older than us, and I'm like, what is next? Like, what do you do? Do you go out and you buy boats? Do you go out and, you know, I mean, you always hear of like the midlife crisis, right? So
Yeah,
like
I've also heard of a quarter life
house.
crisis.
Well, yeah, that was a long time ago for us.
20s, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I had one of those. Anyways, go on.
I'm sure we lashed out somehow.
Somehow.
I mean, there had to have been.
I'm sure. I'll think about it. It'll come to me.
So like that's everybody's really stagnant right now because I feel like I'm a little stagnant.
Yeah.
Like I know that I can improve myself professionally by improving my craft, but that's really it. It's like, cause what's next? Where do you take that next step? Like,
Right.
do you start your own knitting circle? Do you know,
Join a book club?
well, like
Like
I mean,
what?
I'm already a part of the club, you know, Costco. But
Me too.
but it's like it's amazing to watch like what the drive is in your 20s, like what the goals are.
Right.
And then like what the goals are in our 30s. And then we're just kind of hitting this weird empty space where there's really not a point where we need to like drive and push further because we've already got the house. We've already got
Right. We're kind of
the
like
family.
we're running
you know,
like
what you
very
say, we've
fluidly.
kind of hit that
like,
plateau and you're like, okay, so how do I either maintain this or make this better?
right. Like what do I need? What do I want? What do I want my retirement to look like?
Right. I mean,
Is my biggest question.
is like how what do I want my life to look like in my 70s?
Well, because I don't like we're in Florida, you know,
Mhm.
and right now we're down in the Keys, and that's a very big like retirement area.
Fair.
So there's a lot of elders down there, which is amazing. I love them. But it's like, is that what I want my retirement to be?
Right. You kind of get a
Like, what do they do?
first-hand
Like, what do you do all day?
fucking nothing. That's the best part. That's the best part. You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to do anything you can to entertain yourself.
Have such a hard
Pigeon
time
races,
sitting
bingo,
still. I know.
knitting circles, fucking quilting squares. I don't know what you call them.
That's what they do though, for real.
Like
that's
water aerobics. You live for every Wednesday when you get to see Jenny at water aerobics.
That's true.
I'm sure.
I mean, like with every other, section or stage of our lives, the things that, are enjoying to us or whatever become like they change with age, right?
Right.
And I think it's just like a natural thing that happens. Like, I don't think that, like, I'm not going to be like, when I turn like 45, I'm going to be like, I'm going to start water aerobics at 45 or whatever, like, I don't think someone just like sets that goal ahead of time.
I knew
like,
I wanted to take better care of my skin when I turned 30.
Right.
So,
I mean, I'm sure there are some things, like, I can't think of anything for me that I can think in the future. Like, when I'm 72, I'm going to start knitting.
You got to start knitting now before your hands start hurting.
Before I can't use it anymore.
Just can't. Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I see you.
Do people do that or no?
I'm going to wait till I'm 80 before I start to fall in love with puzzles. Yeah, I
love puzzles now.
I do. I just don't have the space for them.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. You know what I hate probably the most about this age is how to dress. I don't know how to dress myself. It sounds so...
Where's the rest of my shirt?
It sounds so ridiculous. Like, it really does. But, like, I truly don't know how to dress at this age. Because...
What do you mean? Do you feel like there should be a uniform at 40? Like, you just need to dress in a certain shirt and pant to tell everybody that you're ancient?
I don't know.
Why do you need to change your style?
I don't know that I need to.
You don't.
I just feel like sometimes because I do look so young, or because I have bonus daughters who are, 3 out of the 4 of them are adults. One of them's almost an adult. She's 16. I feel like sometimes if I'm out with them and I am dressed, let's say
you just
in
look
a
like one of them
top.
Yeah.
In a pair of shorts or whatever, that I am just blending into them. Like, I'm not viewed as like a mature middle-aged woman, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
And I don't know why I even think that matters to me. Like, I don't know why I have that thought. Like,
it's just a matter of you.
It must be like a weird insecurity or something that I'm maybe feeling. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why it matters what I think, how I'm viewed, because
nobody likes being perceived.
Yeah. Like, or judged, obviously, right? Like, based off how you look, because like whenever I get ID'd for anything, they're like, oh, wow, you're so young.
That's such a compliment.
And like, yes, I get that. Thank you. I know I look like I'm freaking 12 years old still, but like, it sucks at the same time because it's like I get stuck on like this weird thing because we go shopping all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be looking out in clothes in like the women's section or whatever. Like we still be shopping in the junior section, you know?
Right.
I shop in both, obviously, depending on what store I'm at. But like we still shop at Forever 21, like American Eagle, stuff like that sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, these clothes are all the same clothes that my kids wear.
Right. Well, because you're shopping in the same place your kids do.
Exactly. And when I was, a teenager, my mom also shopped in the same places that I shopped.
Right.
So I'm like, I guess it's not that bad, but like at the same time, like I see other moms out in public, like that are my age,
mm-hmm.
And I'm just comparing myself. I'm just me probably comparing myself to other people too, know, and I see them and they're like more mom-like.
Okay. So
if that makes sense.
So let's pick this apart for a second.
So I don't feel like I'm very like mom-like.
What does mom-like? What does that? Okay, we'll just call it a uniform. What does that uniform look like? What? Okay. Because it's honestly what you're talking about is sense of style. Because one of the things that I'm hearing you say is that people perceive me as one of the girls because I'm shopping in the same stores as one of the girls. I'm kind of the same height, build, and beautiful skin texture as one of the girls. Like, I still have that radiant youth.
Right.
To whereas when I put on their clothes, I look like one of them. So it almost sounds like it's a sense of fashion thing. Like, it's not a matter of you standing out because you're not old enough. It's a matter of like you're blending in because your fashion sense is the same as the current fashion sense of the people who are in that age range. to where.
But does American Eagle and Forever 21 and all those places market to women in their 35 to 45 age range?
The only reason why those women are in there is because of their children.
True, probably.
And
or
so
their
when they're shopping around, they're picking out things for themselves as well. So yes, those places will have some of the more simple staples that, maybe mom can wear, so she can feel like she's a part of it. Right.
So she's like trending.
Yeah, I don't know, with her children. Because I know that there are some mother-daughter relationships where they're like that, where they want to be kind of on that same level.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really just a sense of fashion. So, like, what is a mature fashion to you? Is it always just button-up blouses and khaki cutoff or khaki crops?
So, when I worked at BMW in New York, we had to dress very professionally. We had to wear like business slacks and like blouses and like shirts and like skirts and freaking heels every day.
You were almost like black tie business.
Yeah, it was very like we had to look very professional. And so that for me to dress that way in my early 20s, it was really hard for me at first because the girls that I worked with at the dealership, they were my age and they looked amazing in these professional clothes. And I always felt I just looked so young in them. Like maybe it's just my freaking baby ass face. Like I don't know, but like obviously that's not the case. Like they still looked nice and flattering or whatever, but like there were moments where I would sometimes, like compare myself, like and be like, why can't I look like that in those clothes or that outfit or whatever in the same way that someone else does? Or, I see these ads pop up. It's like a stupid subscription that you can pay for like 40-year-old women, and they'll like send you clothes monthly.
Yeah.
But like the woman that they have on this, ad is like this gorgeous blonde, and like her hair's all like, in the wind, right? Like all wavy. Right. And she's wearing this super cute like a blouse, and it's like a sheery probably like material, and I think like a pair of slacks, and it like has like some caption about like dressing in your 40s or something, right? And I'm like,
I've seen that Instagram ad.
And I'm like, she looks so hot. Like, she's beautiful.
Because the model's not hot. 40 years old, sis.
And I'm like, if I put that outfit on, I do not feel like it accentuates anything for me or elevates me in any way. Like, I am so much more comfortable in freaking jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie or a crop top or whatever. Like, me even wearing a dress is like a huge stretch. Like, you know that. I think I've worn like 4 dresses in my entire life. No, I'm just kidding. I've worn more than that. But like, I actually did just buy like 3 dresses for the baby shower this weekend.
I'm so proud of you. You're gonna wear all 3?
No, I bought 3 because I have to have other options, and there's buying it online. Yeah. So you
got to get all of it here.
Yeah, I'll just return whatever I don't need.
Everything. Yeah.
But yeah, like I just don't understand like. What is it in my brain? Like, I have friends that are my age that dress different. Like, you have a different style than I do in some aspects. Like, we have similar style, but like sometimes like I can tell like when you've been like out or like doing other things, and like you come over and you're like wearing like this cute like outfit, and I'm like like I feel like I just can't wear stuff like that. Like it just doesn't it doesn't like look the same on me, and it's maybe just the way I feel in it. That's like, I don't know.
I get it. Well, because like there's a part of my wardrobe, because I think you and I are cut from a very similar tomboy cloth.
So much, yes.
So that's where a lot of our fashion sense comes into play. But I was also a tomboy that liked to play in dresses. So that's opened me up into this.
Yes.
Like I can, and I do like to wear the frilly things and the dresses and the skirts and stuff like that, because it just makes me feel good.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that also has to do with I'm dressing for me, because I am my size, my height, like trying to find pants for myself. I cannot tell you how aggravated I am with the struggle of watching the fashion trend go from flared pants to those were the ones I wanted to wear. Those were what I wanted to wear. That's what I wanted to wear, to now it's skinny jeans. Otherwise you're uncool. Right. So then I fought that whole battle until there was nothing but skinny jeans on the market.
I don't even want to talk about jeans right now.
And then now guess what's back? Big old flared out, beautiful bell bottoms. And I'm like, bro, I shouldn't have thrown any of them away. I wouldn't have fit any of them. And it's hard because it's like you try to find these core pieces. You try and find stuff that fits you, that makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
And like a lot of the things that I feel comfortable in are very like flowy and open and big and blousy and just kind of airy, if you will. I don't know how else to explain it.
But you like pull that look off so well.
Because I have taught you that that's what I wear. No, I appreciate that. I really do. No, and I mean, it's really because I like wearing those things because I think I look good.
Right.
When I put those pieces together. Now, of course, there's always times that I step out in an outfit that I think looks cute and does not work in my mind. And then those are the ones that I get the most compliments on.
Right.
You're like, wait a minute. But like, I like to watch the senior community. Like, I really pay a lot of attention to the people who are remarkably older than I am because, I shouldn't say remarkably, just the people who are older than I am because I give them as much credit and as much grace. Those people were my favorite customers.
Yeah.
Because I'm hoping for the same respect and love and care when I turn that age. Regardless, back to the fashion though, I'm looking at these grannies and I'm like, I love the fact that you dress in your own sense of style because you know what that granny uniform looks like. It's like those khaki crop pants,
oh my God,
white tennis shoes, and like a blouse that's either got like some sort of loud ass like flower print on it. Or yeah. So it's like you try and deviate away from those because you don't want that.
No.
And I see these grannies that have gorgeous sense of style that are wearing like funky frames and loud colors and like big flouncy pants. And it's great to see that they still hold on to their sense of fashion, their sense of style, that they didn't just chop their hair off short and fall into J. Crew or whatever.
Yeah. When I'm out shopping and I see, like the older woman section, I like, look from a distance and I'm like, I don't want to ever feel like I have to dress a certain way.
Right. Same.
Because of my age. And I think that's the problem that I'm having right now is like I'm turning 40 at the end of this year. And it's like, I'm struggling on the fact of do I have to dress like I'm in my 40s or can I continue to dress the way that I am and be okay with it? Like in my brain. Like that's what I'm struggling with.
Right.
You know?
That's your battle, right? Well, I mean, because has anybody said anything to you?
No. Obviously
not.
Oh,
so you're creating your own drama.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is all my own crazy scenario.
No, I get what you're saying because I think people kind of go through a couple, I don't know, reiterations of themselves.
Right.
Like I've changed my style a couple times throughout my life.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
sure
have too.
You're allowed, but I don't think that's something that you need to force. I think that's something that's just going to happen to you naturally. I think you're going to be like 43 and a half and be like, hey, maybe I should wear this instead.
Maybe.
Well, because that's what will only be on the market. Like unfortunately, we are a victim to crop tops, flared pants, and anything that's metallic right now, I think, or denim, because that's what's on the market. That's what we have to buy.
The clothes, like, what is going on in the fashion world right now?
Can I ask for help, please?
Like, is there anybody else that's our age that's like having problems out there finding clothes?
Every single girl I talk to.
I mean, I am more secluded from the world than you are.
Right.
Just because we're working all the time or, we're in the RV and we're just not around public and we don't know anybody else really in Florida. That I would associate with outside of people we already talk to and hang out with. But, like even like among our group, like the clothes are crap. Like when we go out shopping, we're like, what the hell is all this?
It's so
what
real.
Is this stuff? It's so like it's 80s, 90s stuff. Like it's not anything that I would wear currently.
And the problem I have is that it's so cheaply made. Like I can't get something that's going to last me more than a season.
Right.
My girlfriend and I, Taylor, went out to the mall out here to buy like name brand expensive clothing, core pieces that are going to last us. Like we went to the mall with all the luxury brands inside of it. And
the fancy one?
Yeah, the fancy one. Just to see if there's anything out there that's worth having. Like, is there a pair of jeans that's going to last me more than 2 years? Right. I'm willing to spend $180 on a pair of jeans that's going to last me. Is there, you know, a shirt or a blouse out there that I can wear for more than one summer? Like, can I find these clothes?
Right.
And
you're at a point now where you're kind of like investing in your wardrobe. I can
spend that money
right?
on those pieces that
right.
I want to wear. And it's hard because I can't find those pieces. Like me personally on that shopping experience, what I found is that I need to lose some weight because I don't fit into anything in the stores. No, I'm just kidding. But also, yeah, kind of. But the only place that I could find anything that I enjoyed or that I wanted to wear was unfortunately a fast fashion factory of H&M.
Really?
So everything was like really thin and kind of cheap. And I've washed a couple of those articles from that visit already and they've just fallen apart.
I know. Or like they don't hold like shape the right way.
I'm so mad because like that was the only place. We went so many places that had like the luxury brands, like the top echelon of stuff that's saying like, hey, I'm charging you this much because I'm quality.
Right. You're paying $85 for this t-shirt.
Right. And I want that t-shirt to last me
20 years.
4 summers at least, please, until I grow out of it.
Right.
Because it's a struggle. I mean, because I don't want my closet to be huge. I'm trying to minimalize everything. I want that capsule wardrobe. I want that little bit I want to look at it and have it just be easy. But I also like those fun pieces that kind of like hold personality.
Right.
And you can't. I mean, I don't want to succumb to H&M. I want to, reduce and reuse. So I do like thrift shopping and things like that nature, but it's really hard to find stuff that's going to last you out there.
It is hard. And it's just hard to find anything that I freaking like.
Right.
Like even when like I intentionally go out to shop or like online or whatever, and I just do not see anything that I like.
That's the struggle. I'm in that same boat right now.
I'm looking at, on websites like, let's check out the new arrivals. And I'm like scrolling. I'm like, what is this? Right.
This is high school all over again.
Like and then I'm like, okay, well, where else do I look then to try to buy clothes?
That's why we went on this voyage outside of our normal bubble.
Is there a different area I need to be looking?
No, ma'am. It's shit everywhere.
Shit everywhere. Well, all right then. Just keep wearing
the same old
holy skinny jeans
until you are done being perceived that way. You just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care what people think, but sometimes I do think about that. Like especially sometimes when I'm out with like Jaden, like when she was playing competitive volleyball a lot. Those moms were sometimes a little bit older than me, not by much, but they looked older than me. And
it was because of what they were wearing.
I've always been perceived as like, most of the time people didn't know right away that I was Jaden's bonus mom.
Right.
They thought I was like her older sister, and it's like, I don't want to be perceived. Like I want to be perceived as like a mom as well, if that makes sense.
That's when you got to invest in those like mama bear shirts.
But like, I'm not a mom. Like I'm a mom, but like not like none of them call me that, obviously.
Right.
But like in a social setting, when I'm with Jaden or any of the girls, I would like to also like look like
as if you are
right.
their person, the adult in the room.
Correct.
Right.
Like, and maybe it's just a maturity thing. Maybe it's just because I do have such a baby face.
That is probably a lot of it, is that you are working against a blessing.
I guess. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. These are the thoughts
She's like,
that you have.
I want to look older.
Can you make me look older? Meanwhile, I'm like putting on my no wrinkle cream at night.
Right. Like, no bags.
The 40s are going to be crazy.
I think the 40s are going to be fun.
They'll be good though.
Yeah. Because why not? How different can they really be?
It's not going to be.
I really
just
think
another decade of growing and learning shit.
The 40s are going to be cooler cars and
funner adventures.
Because now we have the money to go on these adventures, right? Because you've heard of like adult money, right?
Yeah, because you've worked your ass off in your
this
20s
entire
and 30s
time
to get to this
vacation,
point.
money, all
so
of that.
So they
fun
say.
stuff. Yeah.
All right, guys. Anyways, on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today. Make sure you like, subscribe, share.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, tell all your friends. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jessica.
We'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Girl, did you hear?
Nah, girl, what?